So good morning everyone. My name is Lalit Soni and you are watching Drishti IAS. In this live session, we will be discussing the Indian Express newspaper. We could not come live for like 4 or 5 days because of some concerns. But anyways, today we will be talking about the all those important articles which were there in the last week. We'll try to understand that what has happened in the last week and how it is important for us. There are certain things which are repetitive in nature when we are talking about visit of Indonesian president to India. So you will be seeing that after 25th, 26th, 27th, they have been covering that, so we'll be talking about that. After that, when we are talking about the India and China related issue, so you will be seeing that there was this article that our side of diplomats will be going to China and they will be having a talk. So that was the article which was there for 2 days. So considering that, you will be seeing that there are many articles which were repetitive in nature. So that is there. Otherwise also, if there is something which has been missed over here in the past week, we will be trying to cover today or in the upcoming session. So don't worry about the content, you will be getting everything. Your newspaper side will be covered. Okay, so now today we will be discussing about these important articles over here, that is India Indonesia link. So first we will be talking about India and Indonesia, why Indonesian president came to India. We will be seeing that what was the historical link, we will be seeing that what has been discussed this time and what kind of relation India and Indonesia is having. We are trying to see some of the facts over here as well, because that can be reproduced in the examination. So that we will be talking about. Then coming to the Padma Awards on the occasion of Republic Day. Okay, these awards are generally announced, so we will be talking about these awards as well. We'll be talking about the Gallantry Awards as well. When we talk about the Gallantry Awards, we'll be talking about them in the fact of the day, because they have also been announced. So that is something which you need to know. When we talk about awards, generally you will be seeing that when we see the Padma Awards, there are three categories. So we'll be seeing that three categories. We'll see that how it is important for our syllabus. Other than that, when we talk about the Gallantry Awards, so it is important to know when these Gallantry Awards are given, what are the nature of these awards, or what are the type of these awards which are there. So we'll be talking about these awards as well. Okay. Then Iron Age in Tamil Nadu. Generally speaking, when we talk about the Iron Age, the timeline was somewhere around 2000, or you can say 1500 BC or 2000 BC. Okay, but it was recently, it was seen that in the Tamil Nadu there was some evidences which are saying that it is even before that. Okay, somewhere around 3000 BC. Okay, so you can see the timeline has been shifted 1000 years early. So we'll be talking about that. We'll be seeing that how it will impact. Okay, so all these things will be there. Other than that, we'll be talking about the India China. We'll be talking about one of something which has happened in Uttarakhand when we talk about Jim Corbett Tiger Reserve. So we'll be talking about that. So all these things we'll be covering today. There will be some passing references as well, because since there are various topics which we have already covered. Okay, there will be some topic for your own read. There will be around 3 topics. Obviously, from the last 4 days we are covering, so 3 topics will be there for your own read. They in one way or other has been covered, so don't worry about that as well. Okay, so let's move further, and in the end, you know that there will be a practice question we have given you in the last session, so we'll be discussing that, and after that there will be a practice question for your practice from the today's you can say discussion. Okay, now let's start with the first one, that is your fact of the day. Every time when we discuss the newspaper, we take two sections. One is your fact of the day, second is your geography through maps. Okay, so fact of the day is the place wherein, let's say in the newspaper, if we have gone through some of the articles, but if there is something which has been missed from the online part or somewhere else, okay, PIB or other sources, so we'll be trying to cover that in this particular article. Okay, and then geography through maps, that has been started from the point of revision. Okay, earlier we have done the constitution, we have seen all the constitution, important constitutional amendments, we have seen the important articles. So similarly, now we are focusing on the geography part. Okay, and later on we'll be going for the PYQs as well. Okay, so here we are talking about the Gallantry Awards. They have been instituted by the government of India to honor the acts of the bravery and sacrifice of the officers and the personnel of the armed forces, other lawfully constituted forces, and the civilians. So here they are saying that whenever there is an act of bravery, to commemorate that or to recognize that, we are giving the Gallantry Awards. Okay, there are various types of Gallantry Awards which are there. We'll be seeing in the further. So when we are talking about the background, so there are three Gallantry Awards. One is Paramveer Chakra, Mahavir Chakra, and Veer Chakra. These were instituted way back in 1950 by the government of India. Okay, on 26th January 1950, these three awards has been, you can say, declared. That is your Paramveer Chakra, Mahavir Chakra and Veer Chakra. Then thereafter the other three has been included, that is basically your Ashok Chakra class 1, Ashok Chakra class 2 and Ashok Chakra class 3 in 1952. Now these Ashok Chakra class 1, class 2, class 3, they have been renamed to Ashok Chakra, Kirti Chakra and Shaurya Chakra, okay, in 1967. So first in 1950s there was three gallantry awards which were there, that is your Paramveer Chakra, Mahavir Chakra and Veer Chakra, and after that in 1952 we had the three other classes, that is Ashok Chakra class 1, class 2 and class 3. They have been renamed in 1967 as Ashok Chakra, Kirti Chakra and Shaurya Chakra. Now these are the important, you can say, gallantry awards which are there, okay. These gallantry awards are announced twice a year, first on the occasion of Republic Day and then second on the occasion of the Independence Day. So both when we are talking about the important dates which are there, that is 26th of January and 15th of August, Republic Day and the, you can say, Independence Day, these awards will be announced. Order of precedence, if we talk about like which awards will take precedence over the others, so here it is given as Paramveer Chakra, then Ashok Chakra, Mahavir Chakra, Kirti Chakra, Veer Chakra and Shaurya Chakra. So these are the, you can say, order of precedence when we are talking about the you can say gallantry awards. Again, that is Paramveer Chakra, then Ashok Chakra, Mahavir Chakra, Kirti Chakra, Veer Chakra and Shaurya Chakra. So these are the order of precedence. Now all the gallantry awards may be awarded posthumously. That means that even after the death of the security personnel, so we can recognize their you can say contributions, so that can be given after the death, that is posthumously. Then person recommended for the award shall not be involved in any adverse report or should not have any conveyed any displeasure or the censure or given any punishment in the court martial proceedings or through the administrative actions, okay. So that is there, they are saying that a person who is involved or who is getting the award, he should be of a clean image. So that is what they mean over here, okay. Now let's move further and start with the today's discussion with respect to the newspaper. So first we'll be going through the today's newspaper, and after that we'll be taking few of the you can say articles from the past week, okay. So India Indonesia call for code of conduct in South China Sea. Now why in South China Sea? Because when we are talking about the South China Sea, the China's activities are increasing over here. China has this tendency to get aggressive. Many times they have this you can say compulsion to actually take more territory when we are talking about the you can say this area of South China Sea, or other than that also in the Indo-Pacific region. When we talk about the Indian Ocean region, China is trying to have a sway. China is trying to make sure that they have area of influence. They try to challenge the hegemony of USA globally, and in the region they are challenging basically India, okay. So considering that, there was this article which is there. I have taken two articles from today's newspaper as well as from the yesterday's newspaper, and wherein they have discussed about Indonesia, okay. So we'll be talking about that. Indonesian president has been actually invited for our Republic Day as well. So let's see. Indonesian president visit the chief guest of India's 76th Republic Day, highlights the importance of the Indonesia and India's relations. So herein we will be discussing about that. That is the news because of which it was in, you can say, discussion. Both nations share a comprehensive strategic partnership. That is the term which is generally used, strategic partnership, when you are having cordial relations and there are areas where you are going for the cooperation. This term, that is comprehensive strategic cooperation, generally used. Okay, established in 2018 with deep-rooted civilizational ties visible in the cultural exchanges like Bali Yatra. Bali Yatra is something which is celebrated in the southern part of India as well as in Odisha. Okay, so that is their Bali Yatra, and the centuries of the collaboration in the art, religion and trade. When we talk about Indonesia, you know that there are various people of Indian origin which are living over there. Other than that, cultural ties are there. When we talk about that particular country, there are various Hindus which are living over there, Buddhists are living over there. Other than that, there are various temples which are there. The culture is having some kind of affinity. So cultural ties or the soft power related ties are also there. So considering that, Indonesia is a good partner. Okay. Now let's see some of the important facts with respect to the India-Indonesia relations. Okay. Deep civilizational ties are reflected in cultural events like Bali Yatra, centuries old collaboration in art, religion and trade, which we have already seen. Focus on strengthening ASEAN link. You know that ASEAN is basically a grouping, is a regional grouping which is there of the countries of the Southeast Asian region, and India is having a cordial relation with all these countries, okay. And then when we talk about the ASEAN, we are having various FTAs which are also there, though we have opted out of RCEP, okay. regional comprehensive economic partnership. We have came out of it because of the concerns related to the local industry in India. So that is there. Indo-Pacific strategies, ASEAN links, Indo-Pacific strategies, maritime security to countering the rising Chinese influence. So these are some of the you can say common area where India and Indonesia are working. Okay, Indonesia is the largest trading partner in ASEAN with bilateral trade amounting 29.4 billion and target of 50 billion US dollar by 2025. Now this is a fact which you can reproduce in the examination. Right now we are having somewhere around 29.4 billion US dollar trade, and target is to go for 50 billion by 2025. Okay, little bit aspirational, but again, since ties are good, so we can go for that. Key investment areas include infrastructure, textile, green energy, consumer goods, etc. One of the factor over here that can be tourism as well. Okay, so that is there. Defense Cooperation Agreement 2018 promotes joint military exercise like Garuda Shakti, Naval Samudra Shakti exercise to boost the defense ties, naval exchanges, and the security trade routes. These two exercise becomes important: Garuda Shakti and the Samudra Shakti. Okay, so Samudra Shakti is basically naval exercise. Garuda Shakti is also there at the security forces level exercise. Okay, then expanding collaboration in the satellite technology through the ISRO. They want to go for their own satellites in space. When we talk about Indonesia, Indonesia is a small island country, so they might not be having the you can say technology to launch their own satellites. So they might get services for ISRO. Okay, ISRO is going for the commercialization as well, so that is why it is good for India as well. Coming to the next one, joint efforts in the healthcare and building a green hospital in Indonesia. Educational initiatives like scholarship under the ITEC program. So now it is your homework that you will be going and checking what is ITEC program. Okay, then direct flight route between India and Indonesia cities have boosted tourism. That is around 60,000 Indian tourists visiting Indonesia in 2023. So basically, as I told you, that there is one aspect, that is tourism, which has also been covered over here. Approximately 15,000 Indian origin residents in Indonesia contribute to the bilateral trade. These are basically Indian origin people, or you can say our diasporas which are living over there. So that is the fact which I have already covered in the starting of the video. Okay, coming to the next one. The partnership emphasizes economic growth, regional stability, cultural exchanges, and the enhanced connectivity. We have seen that. Now there is some security related angle which is also there. When we talk about the maritime security, India is the first responder, or India is trying to project itself as a first responder in the region. Okay, so considering that, maritime security becomes an important aspect in the India and Indonesia relations. Here you can say reaffirm the importance of the freedom of navigation in the Indo-Pacific region, especially in the South China Sea, and that is why they have said that there should be a code of conduct in the South China Sea, because China is getting out of hands. Okay, so if there is a code of conduct, we might put a moral obligation on China. Okay, so that is there. Then advocates the code of conduct in South China Sea aligns with the international law, including UN clause, United Nations Convention on the Laws of the Seas. You know that South China Sea has various islands which are there: Spratly Island, Paracel Island, Second Thomas Shoal. All these islands are there which are basically contested islands. Okay, and in this region, China has a sway. There are islands which are contested between China and Philippines, and the UN clause has given a verdict in the favor of Philippines, but still China is asserting their authority on these islands. Okay, now considering that, if there is a moral code of conduct, there can be an international community's pressure on China, and that is why it was advocated a moral code of conduct can be there. Okay, adapted the shared vision of India-Indonesia maritime cooperation in 2018. Now, this is out of place fact which I have placed over here, that you should know that in 2018, when we have gone for the, you can say, other MOUs and treaties, shared vision of India-Indonesia maritime cooperation has also been adopted between the two countries. So these are the kind of relations we are having with, you can say, India and Indonesia. So this is about the overview of the relations. We have seen why it was in news. So this is about it. Now we can move to the next one. Okay, hold on a second. In the next one here, Environment Ministry panel clears new Sikkim dam despite its own concerns. Okay, now here you know that there was this South Lonak glacial lake outburst flood which was there. Glacial lake outburst flood, we will be talking about that. But because of that particular flood, there was a dam which actually got damaged, and in that particular place of the dam, they are trying to have another dam. Now there are environmental concerns which was there. They have increased the capacity, they have gone for the new design, they have increased the, you can say, height of the dam as well. But the thing is, they have not gone for the fresh environment impact assessment, or you can say fresh flood related data, etc. Now considering that, there are various concerns which are there. Okay, now these concerns has been covered over here. Let's see. Over a year after the glacial lake outburst flood, we will be talking about the glacial lake outburst flood ravaged the part of Sikkim and washed away 60-meter high rock fill concrete dam in having a 1200 megawatt Tista 3 hydel project. Okay, so this is the project, Tista 3 hydel project. Okay, and there was this dam known as the Chungthang dam. Okay, so we'll be talking about that. Here you can see this is your Tista river. Okay, now this is your South Lonak lake. Okay, now because of the glacial lake outburst over here, there was flood in this particular region, and on the Tista river there is this dam which is called as Chongthang dam. Okay, and ultimately this is having the project that is basically your Tista 3 hydel project, and ultimately because of the failure of this particular dam, there was the floods in this particular region. Okay, so that is your you can say South Lonak lake and then Tista river. These becomes important for you. We are talking about Sikkim over here. Okay, so you can see that well. Okay, so we are talking about Sikkim over here. And then now moving to the article over here, proposed to build a new 118.64 meter concrete gravity dam. Here it was a, you can say, rock fill concrete dam. Now what happens is that, let's say when you are talking about the rock fill concrete dam, this is your dam's structure. Okay, so these outer walls are of the concrete, inner fillings will be of the rocks. This inner filling is of the rock, so it is called as the concrete rock fill dam. Okay, but if the whole structure over here is of the concrete, okay, then it will be called as the concrete gravity dam. Okay, this is simple definition, you don't have to worry much about it, but just an idea. Okay, so this is over here. The Environment Ministry's Expert Appraisal Committee EAC cleared the proposal on January 10, 2025. Now what are the concerns over here? Now before moving further, I would like to tell you that what is your glacial lake outburst flood which we were about to see. Okay, so here you can see, when we talk about glaciers, you know that something like this, there will be ice and all, everything will be there. Okay, so let's consider that this is a glacier which is there, and now this ice is melting and glacier is kind of residing. Okay, so this part of the ice, let's say this ice has melted, and this is the new line of the glacier which is there. Now when this ice is melting, so it will convert into water, you know that. Okay, when water will be there, so it will actually, you know, go for the erosion in this particular area. Now let's see, when erosion is there and this water, whatever has been melt, this it will deposit it over here, forming a lake. Okay, and now whatever deposition is there, that can also form a embankment over here. Okay, embankment, or you can say some kind of check which will be there. Okay, so this embankment is there and water is getting filled over here. Now this is called as the glacial lake. Okay, so this was your glacier. Because of the melting ice, water was there, and now this water is having some kind of hydrological force which is there. Hydrological force, because of the weight of the water, that will be there. So this force is there, and now further melting of the glacier is happening, and because of this, water is increasing over here. Now that means that this force is increasing on this embankment. At one point of time, this embankment will not be able to hold the force of the water, and ultimately it will, you know, collapse. When it is collapsing, that means that in the you can say downstream areas, what will happen is that a sudden flow of water will start, and ultimately that will lead to the floods. Okay, now such floods which are happening because of the outburst of the glacial lake, these are called as the glacial lake outburst floods. Okay, so this is something which has happened in the, you can say, Sikkim as well. So there was this glacier, and because of which the South Lonak lake has been found, you can say, filled with the water, and ultimately that embankment collapsed, and because of which the water started to go downstream areas, and there was this dam, that is Chongtang dam, which was there, and ultimately that collapsed. Okay, so that is the idea of your, you can say, glacial lake outburst flood. Okay sir, PDF nahi mil raha hai. PDF was not there because last 4 days we did not have the session. So today we'll be getting the PDF in the Telegram. Okay, so don't worry about that. You will be getting the PDF. If class is there, that you will be getting the PDF. Okay, so this is about the glacial lake outburst flood. Now let's move further and let's talk about the dam and what are the issue right now. Okay, Glacial Lake outburst flood on October 4th, 2023 caused severe damage in Sikkim, washing away 1200 megawatt Tista 3 hydel power project 60-meter high rockfill dam. We have already talked about that, and because of that particular Glacial Lake outburst flood, this particular, you can say, project has actually collapsed. The flood affected 4 districts, killed 40 people and caused widespread destruction at that point of time. So this is something which has happened in 2023. Now new dam proposal, because the earlier dam was collapsed. Okay, so we have come up with a new proposal. Earlier dam was 60-meter height. Now they have come up with the 118.64. Nearly you can say that they have gone for the twice the height. Okay, proposal was approved to replace the washed away dam with a 118-meter high concrete gravity dam. The spillway capacity of the new dam was enhanced from 7,000 to 19,946 cubic meters per second. Okay, so from nearly, you can say this is nearly tripled, okay, or 2.5 times. So they have gone for this well as well. So now the thing is, since you are increasing the capacity, since you are increasing the, you can say, height of the dam, so that means that you have to go for the fresh environment impact assessment. But this time they have not gone for it. Here the difference between the concrete gravity dam and the rock fill dam has been given, which I have already told you. Okay, now here you can see ESC's concerns if we are talking about. So concern raised about the safety and the stability of the proposed dam, because data are not there, or if at all there is the data, that is old data. Environment impact assessment is done in 2006 for the earlier dam. Okay, so on the basis of that dam they have gone for the this project as well. Okay, so committee has demanded the installation of the early warning system, mapping of the glacial lakes and the landslide prone areas, a detailed survey of the probable maximum flood. Okay, so they have actually gone for the detailed, they have actually asked for the detailed survey of that as well. So basically the committee over here has said that you have to give these three data as well. Okay, criticism and the risk. Experts highlighted the insufficient assessment of the glacial lake vulnerability, because you did not go for any fresh survey. So that means that you did not go for the assessment of the glacial lake vulnerabilities. Experts called for the fresh environment impact assessment considering the climate change, GLOF risk and the outdated flood data. Okay, so data is from the 2006. No fresh public hearing, citing the previous hearing conducted in 2006. When we are talking about the public hearings, when you go for any kind of you can say a project that is impacting the environment and the ecosystem in that particular area, so people over there, you must have heard about the rights has been given to the Gram Sabha and all, so there will be public hearings as well. Okay, so that kind of public hearings has happened last in 2006 with respect to this particular project, and on the basis of that they have approved the new project as well. So that is why it was in news that there are some of the environmentalists or the conservationists, they are saying that the new fresh assessment is required over here, otherwise it will put the area on the risk. Okay, now coming to the third one, that is about your India and China relations. Hold on a second. Okay, so we stops CPC leaders to hold talks with counterpart today. Okay, Secretary Misri lands in Beijing as India China attempts to repair ties. Now when we are talking about the India and China ties, we will not spend much time over here, because obviously this has been covered various times, and we'll be waiting for the outcome of this particular visit, and then we'll be taking this article again. Right now what is happening over here is that Foreign Secretary Vikram Sri visiting Beijing right now, and he has already landed over there, and they will be talking about the stranded India and China ties after the Galwan issue which has happened in 2020. So such high level visit has not happened. Okay, though diplomatic talks has been going on, though military level talks are been going on, but such high level visit has not been happened. So focus area in this particular visit will be de-escalation along the LACs in the eastern Ladakh sector, then troop disengagement from the Depsang plains and the Demchok. Now these are the called as the legacy dispute areas. Okay, So here they have actually started the patrolling, but the thing is they will be talking about the troop disengagement from the Repsang Plains and the Demchok area, discussion on the border infrastructure and peace building. Okay, so these are the area of focus on which they will be talking. Then moving further, significance, first high level Indian visit to China in years, signaling attempts to restore the dialogue. Okay, so as I told you that since after you can say Galwan issue, there was not such meetings which has happened. So this is the first time they have gone for it, efforts to return to the bilateral ties to pre 2020 levels. Other than that, also when we are talking about the connectivity, when we talk about the Mansarovar Yatra, etc., they will be talking about all these things over here. Now we'll be waiting for the outcome of the you can say visit. These are the areas where they will be talking about. Okay, so we'll be waiting for the you can say outcome, and then we'll be discussing this particular part again. So for your information right now, this much is sufficient. Other than that, India China issue which has been discussed earlier various time. Okay, now amid human animal conflict at Corbett Tiger Reserve, women are more vulnerable. So what happened recently? There was a woman. She was in the you can say area of the reserve, and where she was collecting wood. Okay. Now the problem is that at that point of time, a tiger has attacked and she lost her life. Okay. Now, why is that women are more vulnerable because of the human-animal conflict? Because when we are talking about this particular area of Uttarakhand and all, most of men are outside the village or cities because they are earning somewhere else. Okay, now they have left the woman over here in charge, and they are going for the collection of the wood or the agricultural activities, etc., and because of which they are at the risk as well. Okay, so let's see what has happened. Incident overview, if you talk about, a woman was killed by a tiger while collecting the fodder at the Corbett Tiger Reserve in Uttarakhand. Now, what is important for us? Okay, this incident is not very important. The importance over here is that of the reserve. Okay, Corbett has been in the news, and that is why it is important that you know where Corbett is located, what other protected areas are there in Uttarakhand. Okay, so that is some of the thing which you can take. Now, when we are talking about various things which has been discussed in when we talk about the tiger reserves, etc., there are various tiger reserves which has been asked again and again in your previous year questions. Okay, because previous year question is something which is basically giving you an idea that this is something UPSC is asking again and again. You have to focus on these areas. Corbett is one such tiger reserve which has been asked again and again. So analysis of PYQ becomes important. Okay, going through the PYQ, you can say that these are your Bible. Okay, so you have to focus on the PYQs, and accordingly you can get out of these analysis that these are certain things which are forming the core part of your UPSC journey. So that depends on the PYQ. So again, PYQs, Corbett has been asked, or in the options it has been asked again and again, so it becomes important for you. Okay, now since 2017, Ramnagar division has seen 12 tiger attacks. Okay, and with 7 victims being women. So that is the you can say situation which they are trying to highlight, that the women are on the you can say more vulnerable side. Human wildlife conflict, that is not something new, because a human is entering into the habitat of the animals, so these conflicts are there. Other than that, also when we talk about the capacity of a particular tiger reserve, etc., so if there is a prey base which is declining in a particular area, or if the habitat is destructing, in that case they will be moving towards the villages. Okay, animals will be moving towards the villages, and ultimately it will lead to the human wildlife conflict. Increased tiger density in the Corbett Tiger Reserve, 260 tigers, highest in India. Status of the tiger report 2022. So basically they are saying that there are 260 tiger reserve, sorry, 260 tigers which are there in the tiger reserve. Okay, and the density is been increasing over here. Now if the density is increasing, that means that they need to have a prey base. If there is no prey base, they will be entering into the villages. 46 villages with a combined population of 2939 near the park face tiger threats. Village depends on the forest for firewood and the fodder due to the lack of the alternatives. Okay, so that is basically the reason. So there is this human wildlife interaction which is there. Okay, now impact on the woman. Men have migrated to the cities, leaving women to shoulder foraging responsibilities. Women face higher vulnerability as they venture into forest for the resources. Economic challenges. Villagers earn meager income from agriculture and dairy farming. So when we are talking about the these initiatives like your LPG reform, I mean LPG gas related things, etc. So these resources are not yet completely there, or you can say government provided gas cylinder are expensive to refill, forcing reliance on the firewood. So because of which ultimately women are going into the villages, and after outside the villages and into the tiger reserve area. Now when we are talking about the various protected areas. So this is the site of your Corbett Tiger Reserve, Jim Corbett National Park, and then you will be having a Corbett Tiger Reserve over there. Other than that, next important is your Rajaji National Park, which is there. Okay, you must have heard about the Gangotri National Park, Valley of Flower National Park, Nanda Devi Biosphere Reserve and National Park, which is there. So these are some of the important, you can say, national parks which are there, or you can say the protected area which is there in Uttarakhand. They have been asked again and again in the options in the PYQ. So please remember all these things. Okay. Now let's move further to the next, which is talking about the Padma Awards. Okay. Recently, on the occasion of the, you can say, the Republic Day, there are Padma Awards and the Gallantry Awards which has been announced. Okay, so when we talk about the Padma Vibhushan, it has been given to 7 people. When we talk about the Padma Bhushan, it has been given to 19 people, and Padma Shri has been given to 113 people. Now, who are the Padma Vibhushan awardees? Over here you can say Duvur Nageshwar Reddy in medicine from Telangana. He has received this. Retired Justice Sri Jagdish Singh Kehara. So he has also actually received Padma Vibhushan for the public affairs from Chandigarh. He is. Then MT Vasudevan Nair. He has received the Padma Vibhushan posthumously. Okay, for the literature and education. Then Osamu Suzuki, he has also received this for the trade and industry, and that is also posthumously over here, and he's from Japan. Then Sharda Sinha, recently she has actually died, and she was an artist. So she was artist from Bihar. So she has also received the Padma Vibhushan posthumously. Then Kumudini Rajnikant Lakia, she has also received for the, you can say, art from Gujarat. And then the seventh person over here is basically Lakshmi Narayana Subramaniam for the art from Karnataka. Okay, so these names, if you can remember, please do, because in the PCS examination etc. they can ask you. So please remember these names. Now, otherwise, when we talk about what is important for us, that is the description and the details of the Padma Awards. So let's see. Padma Awards are one of the highest civilian honor of India, announced annually on the Republic Day. So that is something which you should remember. Coming to the next one, when we talk about the Gallantry Awards, they are announced 2 times. One is on the Republic Day and the Independence Day. This is generally announced on the Republic Day. Okay, the award seeks to recognize the works of the distinction and is given for the distinguished and the exceptional achievements or services in the fields of activities and the disciplines. So, no, so basically we are saying that in the various fields and you can say disciplines, if you are going for the extraordinary service, they will be giving you this particular award. Padma Awards were instituted in 1954. Gallantry Awards were instituted in 1950s. Okay, Padma Awards in 1954. Here we have Padma Vibhushan, Padma Bhushan and Padma Shri. Okay, Padma Vibhushan for the exceptional and the distinguished service, Padma Bhushan for the distinguished service for of a higher order, then Padma Shri for the distinguished service. Okay, so these are given for the exceptional services. Okay, so that is there. Coming to the award, the awardees are presented a sanat, a certificate signed by the president and a medal. Okay, so that will be there. Then eligibility, if you talk about, all person without discrimination or the distinction of race, occupation, position or sex are eligible for these awards. Government servants, including those working with the PSUs, except doctors and the scientists, are not eligible for these awards. Okay, so doctors and scientists can get it, but the government servants during their, you can say, tenure, they will not be you can say included in the nominees. Okay, the award is normally not confirmed posthumously. However, in a highly deserving cases, the government could consider giving award posthumously. This time we have seen that few people has got it. So here you can see, when we talk about these 3 awards over here that has been received posthumously. Okay, so that is MT Vasudevan Nair, Osamu Suzuki and Sharda Sinha. They have been receiving this award posthumously. Okay, so that is there. Then the award does not amount to a title and cannot be used as a suffix or prefix to the awardee's name. Now this you will be telling me that which article is talking about this particular thing, which article of our constitution is related to the titles etc, and that is about these Padma awards. Okay, so one more thing over here, that who can nominate and how the process is. So here you can say nominations are invited from the central ministries, department, state and union territories governments, Bharat Ratna, Padma Vibhushan awardees, institution of excellence, etc. These are the person who can actually from which we are inviting the nominations. Okay, and all citizens can make nomination and the recommendation, including self nomination. Even a simple person like you and me can, put forward a nomination. Okay, so that is there. Then who decides? So all the nominations received for the Padma awards are placed before the Padma awards committee, and which is constituted by the prime minister. Every year there will be a committee which will be constituted. All the nominations will be put forward in front of the committee on the basis of the recommendation of the awards committee, and after the approval of the home minister, prime minister and the president, the Padma awards are announced on the eve of the Republic Day. Okay, so that is about the process which we have discussed now. Okay, now let's move further to the next one, that is iron era, or iron age begin in Tamil Nadu hundreds of years earlier than it is believed. Okay, so let's talk about this particular article as well. Hold on. Okay, so in this article there was some excavation which has happened in some of the sites in Tamil Nadu. They have actually found that there are iron evidences of use of iron before we say that there was this invention of iron was done. Okay, generally it is considered that somewhere around 2000 to 1500 BCE we have actually found iron, and before that we did not have such evidences. Okay, but in this article they are saying that before that also we had the evidences. So let's see. Okay, a new study reveals that the iron technology existed in Tamil Nadu as early as 3345 BCE. Okay, 3345 BCE, challenging the previous assumption about the origin of the iron age in India, which I told you that is somewhere around 2000 to 1500 BC. Okay, radiometric dating from the multiple international laboratories and the excavation in Tamil Nadu form the basis of the findings. The Iron Age timeline in India has been pushed back by nearly 1300 years, as it was earlier believed to have begun in 2000 BCE after the decline of the Indus Valley civilization. So generally it was said that after the decline of the you can say Indus Valley civilization, we have come up with the knowledge of the iron, and after that a new era has started. Okay, so that is there, but now we are saying that is even before that. Okay, archaeological sites like Shivagalai, Addichanallur, Maila Dumparai, okay, Maila Dumparai, okay, and Kilna Mandi. These are the sites provide the evidence for the earlier existence of the iron. Now, please remember these four sites, because UPSC has previously asked that which site is belonging to which particular you can say era, or you can say which site is having some kind of evidence of the iron age, etc. So all these things can be asked again. So please remember these sites, that is Sivagalai, Adichanallur. This is an important site when we are talking about the South India. Okay, then Maila Dampurai and Kilana Mandi. Okay, so these are some of the important sites which are giving this evidence that iron existed even before we say that it existed. Okay, so findings suggested a contemporaneous cultural trajectory between the copper age of the North India and the iron age of South India. So basically copper age when we are talking about, so basically we are talking about the Indus Valley civilization. Okay, so that is your Chalcolithic age. Okay, so when we are saying that there is a cultural affinity of in the trajectory between the copper age of the North India and the iron age of the South India, indicating unique development of the unique evidence development south of the Vindhyas. Okay, so when we talk about, you can say, India's map, somewhere like this. Okay, so these are your Vindhyas region. Okay, south of this we generally consider that is your southern Indian part. Okay, discovery shows advanced iron metallurgy, including the furnace capable of achieving a temperature of 1300 degrees Celsius, challenging the belief that the iron technology originated Anatolia around 1300 BC. Generally, it is said that in the you can say this technology or the furnace or the metallurgy related aspect has actually originated in Anatolia around 1300 BCE. Now we are saying that has already been there in India somewhere around 3300 years ago. Okay, 3300 BCE. Okay, the discovery holds global significance, potentially altering the narratives about the origin of the iron. Tamil Nadu's pivotal role in early metallurgical innovations highlights India's contribution to ancient technological advancements. Okay, so this is about the new study which we have seen. Okay, four sites which has been mentioned over here, that is important for you, which you have to remember: Sivagalai, Adi Channalur, and Maila Dampurai, and Kilana Mandi. Okay, so these are some of the sites which is important for you. Now moving further to the next one, a Supreme Court ruling that continues to guardrail free speech in India. Okay, so this is from the, you can say, somewhere around 25th January. Okay, so this is an article from 25th of January. Here you can see they are talking about a particular case. Okay, the case name is here Ramesh Thapar versus State of Madras. Now this person Ramesh Thapar, he was an editor. He used to have this magazine which is there. Okay, what happens is that because of some kind of you can say criticism of the government back then, so there was this ban has been put. Okay, then this case went to the Supreme Court, and Supreme Court ultimately says that freedom of speech and expression is a fundamental right. So that is the case, that is Ramesh Thapar versus State of Madras. Now it was there in 1950s and that was in the news, so that is why we are talking about it. Okay, so here you can see in the summer of 1950s, across the Madras, copies of the weekly Crossroads were quietly pulled off the shelf. The article on the police violence that killed 22 communists in that particular area of Salem. So, on because of this particular thing, they have actually put it off the market and put some kind of ban or the censure on this particular magazine. Okay, the Ramesh Thapar versus State of Madras was one of the independent India's first landmark judgment on the scope of the fundamental rights, particularly freedom of speech and expression under Article 19(1)(a) of the Indian Constitution. A case is cornerstone, sorry, the case is cornerstone for protecting the media from the censorship. Okay, so in this particular judgment, Supreme Court has made some observation, and Supreme Court said that whatever ban you are putting, that is not legal. Okay, so here you can see the Madras Maintenance of Public Order Act was declared unconstitutional for restricting the freedom of speech and expression beyond narrow limits of the Article 19 clause 2. Now in the Article 19 clause 2, there is some kind of reasonable restriction which has been put. Okay, now these restrictions can be used when there is a threat to the security of the nation, but for the normal law and order or the public order related issues, you cannot go for the censorship of you can say freedom of speech and expression. The court clarified that the restrictions under 19 clause 2 were valid only for the threat to the security of the state and not broader concerns like public order, because in the case of public order, what you will put under the public order, everything which is, if a person is not going for a theft, that is also you can say collapse of the public order. Okay, but you cannot go for such small things, and you can go for the censorship of the press. Mere criticism or the dissent could not justify such restrictions. So what has happened in the Crossroads was just a criticism of the government. Okay, and mere criticism will not qualify for the, you can say, restrictions over here. Okay, now significance of this particular case over here: strengthen the freedom of speech, reinforcing the importance as a pillar of democracy, defining the narrow scope of the restriction under Article 19 clause 2, emphasizing proportionality and the precision. If you are going for any kind of restriction, there has to be a test which has to be applied, that is your proportionality. Proportionality means that whatever restrictions which you are putting, that is something, you can say, which is proportional to the act which has been done. Okay, so generally if there is a security of nation which is at threat, then only you can go for such restrictions. Okay, so that is there, demonstrated the judicial activism by Supreme Court in the protecting fundamental right. So this is the significance of this particular judgment. Okay, now let's move further to the next one, that is ad hoc judges in the High Court, when and how can they be appointed. Okay, now there are certain things which has been discussed in this article when we are talking about the ad hoc judges. Okay, why ad hoc judges are being appointed? So ad hoc judges are appointed when there is a, you can say, backlog or the pendency in the high courts is high. So in that case, a chief justice of the High Court can appoint a retired judge, okay, as a ad hoc judge. Okay, ad hoc means temporary judge, by taking the consent of the retired judge plus of the president. That means that if you are going for the appointment of the you can say retired judge as an ad hoc judge, you have to take two persons consent. One is of that particular person to whom you are appointing, that is your retired judge. Second, the president. Okay, so that is there. How will be the process? So the name which has been suggested by the Chief Justice of High Court, that name will be sent to the CM of the state. Okay, CM of the state will be sending this name to the Union Law Ministry. Okay, Union Law Ministry, after, you can say, consideration, that will be sending to the Council of Minister and the Prime Minister. Prime Minister will be, you can say, Union Law Ministry will be sending it to you can say the Supreme Court. Through the Supreme Court there will be a collegium. Collegium will be of, you can say, CGI plus 2 judges. Okay, so for the case of the High Court, there will be a collegium of CGI plus 2. When we talk about the appointment of the judges in the Supreme Court, then there will be a collegium that is CGI plus 4. Okay, so that you should remember. And after that, after the consideration of the Supreme Court, then it will be sent to the president, and president will be appointing it. Okay, so again, what is the, you can say, process over here? Provision for the appointment. Article 224A of the Indian Constitution says that the appointment of the retired judge as the sitting judge of the High Courts, the Chief Justice of High Court for any state may at any time, with the previous consent of the President, request any person who has held the office of a judge of the court or any other High Court, okay, judge of that High Court or any other High Court, to sit and act as a judge of the High Court for the state. Okay, now it is such appointments are entitled to allowances as determined by the President's order. Jurisdiction powers and the privileges will be same as of the judge of that High Court. Retired judge and the President of India's consent is required for the appointment. Okay, both the consents are required. I have already told you. Now, what is the procedure? So there is the memorandum of procedure which is there in 1998, which has been made. Okay, under that, after the retired judge has been taken the consent, once the, again I'll be telling you that once the retired judge has been taken the consent, okay, so consent of the judge has been taken, then the Chief Justice of the High Court, okay, Chief Justice must forward her name and the appointment details to the CM. Okay, so that will be sent to the CM. Then CM will be sending it to the Union Law Ministry. Okay, now this ministry will be considering with the CGI plus 2. That means that Supreme Court's consultation will be taken. Okay, so Union Law Minister will consult with the CGI. Okay, CGI is advised to the Prime Minister. Now CGI will advise to the Prime Minister. Prime Minister will advise to the President, and President will be the appointing authority over here. Okay, so judges of the High Courts are generally appointed. Supreme Court and the High Court are appointed by the President only. Okay, so he will be taking the you can say decision over here. So that is there, and PM will advise the President on whether to give the approval or not. Okay, after that there was this case Lok Prahari through its General Secretary SN Shukla IAS, that is retired, versus Union of India. So you can remember the name of the case as Lok Prahari versus Union of India 2021. So here they have said that the route that you have to take the consent from the CGI or the consultation from the CGI, that means that this consultation of the collegium over here, they have said that it has to be routed through the collegium of the Supreme Court, CGI and the two senior most judges of the Supreme Court. That is the appointment, you can say collegium for the appointment, and in the cases of the High Court judge. Okay, so that is there. What is the criteria? What if they are going for the ad hoc judges only and they are not taking the taking care of the vacancies? Okay, let's say in a High Court there are 20 vacancies which are there. Okay, now for the 20 vacancies you have to go through a process and then you have to appoint the judges which are permanent judges. Okay, but what if there is a clause like this, they are not going for the you can say hiring of these 20 judges, they are only going for the ad hoc judges. Okay, so for that there was a safeguard which has been put by the Supreme Court in the 2021 only, in the Lok Prahari case. What they have said that ad hoc judge only be appointed when the recommendation have not been made for less than 20% of the vacancies. That out of these vacancies, for the less than 20%, if the you can say the recommendation has been not been made. Recommendation here is meant for the appointment. For the appointment, you know that there is a recommendation which is made. This is the procedure which we have seen already. So that process has not been done for the less than 20% of the vacancies. That is the one. The second thing is more than 10% of the cases which are pending, they are, you can say, having more than 5 years, over 5 years has happened. Okay, so this we will be understanding with an example over here. Let's see. Suppose there is a sanction strength of the High Court is 100. Sanction strength is 100. Trigger point 1. If there is more than 20 vacancies, 20%, that is more than 20 vacancies are there, recommendation for filling these vacancies has not been made. Okay, so out of 100 seats which are there, okay, out of 100 you can say strength which is there of the High Court, more than 20 vacancies are there and you have not made recommendation for the appointment of that. In that case, you can go for the appointment of judge. Second thing is, if the High Court is having, let's say, 10,000 backlogs, okay, and more than 10% cases are going on for more than 5 years, in that case also you can go for the appointment of the judge. So these two condition has been put by the Supreme Court in the Lok Prahari case in 2021. So I hope that is clear about with respect to the appointment of the ad hoc judges. Okay, now let's move further to the next one, that is ISRO launch number 100 navigation satellite equipped with the atomic clocks developed in India. So ISRO will be launching it on 29th of January. Now when we are talking about the there is this series that is your IRNSS. Okay, that is India Regional Navigation Satellite System. Okay, so there are total 7 satellites which are there. Okay, so out of these 7 satellites, there are basically 3 satellites. These are geostationary satellites. Okay, this one, two, and these three satellites are geostationary satellites, and then 4 satellites which are there, that is your geosynchronous satellites. Okay, now idea is to cover India all the time. Okay, India plus 1500 kilometers east and west. Okay, so that we can have a knowledge of the China's activity as well as the Pakistan activity. Now there will be two kind of services which will be provided. One will be the standard service, standard positioning system, SPS, and second will be the reserved or restricted. This restricted one will be for the forces or the military, and this standard will be there for the citizens as well. Okay, like GPS, we have GPS is from USA, and similarly we will be having our own you can say a positioning system. So for that there are these satellites. Now our plan was to increase the 7 satellites. From 7 we are going for 11 satellites. Now what has happened is that there are some of the atomic clocks which are put in these satellites, and there was one satellite which has stopped working as per the you can say, when we are talking about the lifetime of these satellites, they were considered as 10 years earlier. Okay, and before that the one of the satellites has stopped working, so we have tried to send some of the backup satellites over there. Okay, so one of such satellite was basically your IRNSS 1H. Okay, so that was there, but this could not actually the launch was not successful, so that you can say that was some kind of headwind we have faced. And the first satellite which has gone in this series was IRNSS 1A in 2030. Okay, now this constellation or the this series IRNSS is also called as the Navik, navigation through Indian constellations. Okay, so that is there. So please remember all these things from this point of view. Okay, so this is about the ISRO's launch. Coming to the next one, these are the passing references which is there. US military aircraft reported migrants. As I told you that US president has this tendency that he is against the illegal migrations. So there was this thing that some of the you can say migrants has been sent back to the you can say Guatemala and nearby countries. Okay, Trump backs H1B visas, want very competent people. Again, there was this headwinds which are there, or you can say there is this fluctuations which are there with respect to the H1B visas. First they have said in the first time he was not in in favor of the H1B visas. After that there was this, in this term there was this statement which was made by the Elon Musk. He is the ally of Mr. Trump over here. He said that he is in the support. So after that Mr. Trump said he is in the support, and after that Elon Musk has retrieved back the statement, and now again he is saying that he is in the favor. So like that these situations are there. So basically you can say that there is an issue which is there on the H1B visas. What they are trying to do is that they want the brain to work in USA. Okay, but they are trying to make sure that the people who are not contributing much, they should be removed from the jobs over there. Okay, so that is there. Coming to the next one, Israeli troops to stay in South Lebanon beyond Sunday's ceasefire deadline. You know that there was this ceasefire etc. which was there, but here again Israel is considering to stay in the South Lebanon. Now this is Lebanon, this is your Israel. So in the South Lebanon, the forces are trying to stay over here. Other than that, Israel is also saying that the people from the Gaza, Hamas from the Gaza, and most countries like you can say Egypt, etc., and Jordan, they should take more and more Palestinians. Okay, so that has been a statement which has been made. You know that Gaza Strip has been in news. There are 3 crossings which has been in news, so you should know that as well. Other than that, you should know about the boundaries with respect to the Israel and the nearby areas. You should know about the axis of resistance. You should know about the axis of the autocracy. All these things you should know. Okay, so this is about your Israel. This map is very important. This is West Bank. This is the area of Golan Heights which has been taken from Syria, and it is with the Israel. So right now with the Israel. This is your Sinai Peninsula which is over there, that has been taken by the Israel, but it was given back to the Egypt. All these things you should know. Okay. Now coming to the next one, for your own read, there are three articles. One is Bombay High Court said use of loudspeaker is not essential to the religion. So go through this particular thing. Now what is essential to the religion and not, that is for Supreme Court to decide, because there are some of the pending cases which are there. So we will wait till then. Right now Bombay High Court has said that the noisy speakers are not part of the essential religious practices. Okay. What is US birthright citizenship? How has it evolved and what is the law in India? What are the laws in India with respect to citizenship? You know that we have discussed in the polity as well when we were talking about the you can say constitution as the when we are talking about the revision in the polity. We have seen that the what are the important constitutional you can say articles with respect to citizenship, and we have also seen some of the amendments as well. So that is there, that part has been covered, and anyways that is the static part. Right now what is important is the US birthright visas etc. and US birthright citizenship. Okay, a person which used to actually born in USA, he used to get the citizenship of USA. So recently that has been, there was this proposal to remove that, so that is there. You can go through this article. We have already discussed this US birthright related issue. Okay. Then coming to the next one, why JNK is issuing Aadhaar to each chinar tree. Now they are going for the geo-tagging of the chinar trees. Now this is one of the important article. Other than that, this tree, chinar tree, there has been this you can say tendency in the PYQs. If there is a particular kind of tree which has been in news, so they will be asking you about it, some of the particular things about the you can say condition which required for the growth of such trees etc. That has been asked in the PYQ again for different trees or the different crops. So you can go through the what why this chinar geotagging is happening and what is chinar tree. Okay, so I hope that is clear. You can go through this particular article. Now for your practice, there was this question which was given: which rivers are categorized as the eastern river under the in this water treaty? Eastern rivers which are under the control of India. Okay, so basically Ravi, Bias and Satluj, option B would be your right answer. Okay, coming to the next one. Today you are having this question: what river is associated with the Teesta 3 hydropower project? Brahmaputra, Teesta, Ganga and Subansiri. Okay, so question is very simple. Answer is given in the question itself. So with that, I would like to take your leave. If you have not subscribed the channel, please subscribe it. Have a nice day. Thank you. I'll see you in the next session.